Hi friends, Zach from lovewrestling.ca here, and I'm here with a package generously given to us from our new friends at manscaped.com. I just thought I'd take the time to unbox and share the contents with you here today. The first thing I want to say is I really appreciate the discretion of this packaging. I need more secrets with my postman, not less. Okay, so first thing I got here is a t-shirt. Your balls will thank you. You mean that figuratively, right? Like they're not gonna, become sentient and make decisions for me. They already make enough decisions for me. When I was unpackaging it, I really appreciated the discretion here, but I also admire the confidence and the boldness on the very back of this t-shirt. I have been excited about this for days. Get the big packaging out of the way. Big package. Holy cow. I did not expect this. This is impressive. Mow slowly with the blade side up. Always use with care. I think I can do that. 4.0 will help reduce nicks, folks, but you gotta use it properly. There's a pull thing. There's a pull tab underneath. Jesus, box never ends. It's like a little adventure. Got some crop preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant. Very refreshing. Very nice, pleasant odor. It's not like perfumey. It's just like, it's just very fresh. I like that. And then we got the crop reviver. Sorry about the glare. That's awful. So I got the preserver and the revivers. If I forget to use the preserver, then I got the reviver to help me. I've played RPGs. And lastly, the main event. There it is, the Lawnmower 4.0. Very nice, very light. It says I'm supposed to charge it first, but I'm wondering. Oh yeah, there we go. Can hear that baby purr. Oh, it's got a little light too. How handy is that? Well, friends, this is a very nice product. If you want to get your hand on the Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped, just head over to manscaped.com, and I'm even going to do you one better. Just enter our promo code LOVEWRESTLING. You're going to get 20% off, and you're going to get free shipping. How good is that? And thank you once again to manscaped.com for this very generous Lawnmower 4.0 and accessories and t-shirt. My name is Zach Ralph. Thanks for tuning in.
And that video was played because we don't have any typical intros for non-typical shows. And with that being said, hello everyone. Welcome to an edition of Love Wrestling, where we are previewing WWE's Day 1. First off, Happy New Year to everyone. Hopefully everyone was safe, was a bunch of fun, and make sure you followed any restrictions that the COVID-19 heal gave you. And I am welcomed to my side that's not a white wall. Ed, thank you for joining.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And one thing we want to make sure we thank Rich King and RK Athletics One, a sponsor of the show. If you're looking in this new year with a New Year's resolution, that is, I want to either change my diet, start looking a little bit better, going to the gym, just improving my knowledge on all this stuff, whether it's nutrition, working out, or just living a healthier lifestyle, go to RK Athletics One, ask Rich everything you want to do. He does in-person sessions, but you're not there in the same city or around him at all. He does do online as well. And before anything else, we cannot forget our beautiful sponsors that are now Manscaped right here on the ticker below. Make sure you go to manscaped.com, use the code word Love Wrestling, and get 20% off and free shipping. I finally got my stuff in the mail, and let me tell you, this shirt, very comfortable. And it was definitely a hit at my house as everyone was smelling all the different deodorants and that anti-shaving cream that I received. So it was very funny to kind of watch. I appreciate it. Ed, did you get anything from Manscaped?
I did. I gave away the shirt. I gave away the boxers because, unfortunately, they only go to 3X, and I'm a slight bit more than that. So I gave some stuff away.
Ladies, he is big.
Oh, yeah. But no, I've been using the nose and ear hair trimmer every couple days now. And yes, the Lawnmower 4.0 works as directed. It is fantastic. Highly approve.
And just get in, welcome Astrid to it. Happy New Year as well, as I know you said right there. And then we also have Kevin Fair No trimmers needed here, only a beard straightener and beard products.
That's our next stop. Next stop is beard stuff. I know JPJ is hot on that train to try to get us some beard sponsors.
Yeah, if there's one show that generates perhaps some beard products, I think it might be Between Two Beards. That'd be a good one. But yeah,
I never want to give them any credit, but yeah, if we're gonna do any beard stuff, it's going to be on B2B.
I mean, ironically, it'll probably go like to Spencer, who doesn't have it. I mean, he's like the Sidney Crosby of Love Wrestling. He can't grow facially. But speaking of which, we have a show that we are here to talk about. Not one of Spencer's lack of facial hair. One day, Spencer, I know you have a dream, and we hope to see that mustache come in very thick. But we have day one. WWE is presenting day one. Ed, first, what were your thoughts about this show, this pay-per-view, the concept of this before we get into it? Because, I don't know, it seemed kind of hokey to me.
I like the idea. I mean, they've done New Year's Revolution. They've done different ideas for different, early pay-per-view names, kind of a gimmicky show. I like the idea of day one. You're holding it in a place in Atlanta, which typically normally has a lot of football, college football and stuff going on today. So that might be an interesting point of view. But that being said, it's a big sports day. You can really get some good eyes on it. Everybody's kind of home. You can put it on a Saturday night. So you don't have to fight with, people coming in and out of town. Makes a whole lot of sense. I'm excited for the show. Actually, I really like the card, believe it or not.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing I will give WWE, that even if hey, I have a fan from...
You do? Oh.
Yeah.
We can't both keep putting the comment up.
I mean, well, I'm very, very looking to see everyone coming out tonight, and thank you for supporting local wrestling. And yeah, no, as a show kind of comes in, WWE is very good for kind of putting on good cards when it's kind of a thrown together idea. Like, I remember going all the way back to Great Balls of Fire, and how many people kind of just shook their heads and be like, why? But then you had a wicked card. Like, you had Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar. I mean, you couldn't really complain about seeing a match like that. And
that was also the same card that had Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman in the ambulance match, if I remember correctly.
I think so. And they actually beat the living piss out of each other, which was kind of fun to watch as a fan. But we're looking at I'm just looking at the card that I wrote down, and there's 8, 9 matches. Yep. That, I mean, even the kickoff match looks pretty good, which I think I might just start there. We have Cesaro and Ricochet versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland, and I believe this is Ridge Holland's first pay-per-view match on the main roster. What do you think about this match? And I mean, we'll go soft predictions because this isn't a POS. But I mean, let's face it, we run the shots here, so
I'm all for Ridge Holland and Sheamus. It's a really good team that kind of works together very well. Sheamus is a guy who can give Ridge some cover, as Ridge is still young and still getting the idea of what he wants to do, but their characters kind of coexist. Ridge just wants to fight and hurt people. Sheamus has had that character for a long time where it's, I like to fight, I'm going to go ahead and hurt people. So those two work together well. Sheamus and Cesaro on opposite sides, on the same side, doesn't matter. They always put on magical matches. And Ricochet is an amazing in-ring talent, whether he's been utilized properly, whether he's been overlooked, whether he's been squashed by Brock Lesnar. The man knows how to do it in the ring. So I'm excited to see these 4 guys go at it.
Yeah, we I don't know if you watched the one of the last bumps. X-Pac said he was back in ring shape. So if anybody, and one of the guys I thought right away wanted to see X-Pac go against was Ricochet. I have a lot of time for Ricochet. I think this guy just needs that push where they just keep it going instead of the Dolph Ziggler stop and start kind of thing. And I think they have an absolute gem in Ricochet, as well as his tag team partner Cesaro. but I do think Ricochet is a really good image for not only children, but just in that when you want to push that superhero kind of character on anybody. I mean, the fact that he moves like one and can do all the flips, all that, like, and just do it at a very fast level, very much like Neville, now Pac, could. I think that's that's really good. Like, Ricochet capes would be such a great thing to sell and such a cool thing. However, I think Sheamus and Ridge are going to come out here on top. I do think we're going to see probably Ridge pin Ricochet because we haven't seen a lot of Ridge Holland in ring. So I think they might give him that statement win.
Pin Ricochet, pin Cesaro. Like I'd honestly like to see him pin Cesaro. Give it more of a mention because Ricochet is what he is, and he's been booked the way he's been booked.
Yeah, but I mean, I would love to see the swing on Cesaro, or a swing from Cesaro on Sheamus, and as soon as he like throws him down, boom, you got your shooting star, or maybe the returning 630, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just can't see them not wanting to make Ridge Holland look credible tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, Ridge is fantastic. He's got all the potential in the world. Put him with Sheamus, send him to the top.
Yeah. But, I mean, it is kickoff matches, and if anybody does watch POS shows in the past, they know that if there's one match that always gets me because it does not make any logical decision-making, it's those damn kickoff matches. For the sake of wanting, I know, Bobby, you're talking about wanting to see Liv and Becky, just for the sake of not talking about the only women's match right away. I'm going to kind of save that for a little bit later. And a match I think might actually very well open the show, and that is Edge versus The Miz. And I am actually looking forward to this match. I really hope they put Miz over. I just don't see it happen. But I would love to see Miz get that and like have that momentum going in the Rumble, because I do feel this is a show where you need to start getting momentum for the Rumbles. So I'd like to see Miz become more of one of those. Oh yeah, I can definitely see him winning it because he has that momentum going. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be one of Miz's best matches ever.
Oh yeah, I mean the Miz is fantastic, and people underrate this guy all the time, being like, oh, he's just a reality star, or oh, he's just an Intercontinental Championship guy, and his 2 runs with the title were flukes and weren't any good. Like, come on, the Miz is a consummate company guy. He does everything they ask of him. He was the genie this last year on Dancing with the Stars. Dude is money on the mic. He is money in the ring. He's always there, always has a really good match too. Like, there aren't a lot of bad Miz matches. There are some uninteresting Miz matches. There are some that aren't the greatest, but between him and Edge, they can make magic here, and I think they will put Miz over. I think that Miz wins this, and I think Miz wins everything going into the mixed tag at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against that as a match. Personally, I would like to see Miz on his own. But with that being said, like, just because he had the tag last year, and I think he had a tag before that, whether it was with him and John Cena and Nikki and his wife. Oh, no, sorry. He had the match against Shane first, and then there was that match. But I don't think they do enough in match to help elevate Miz, even though, like, you're like, well, how do you elevate him more? I think you just need to put him in positions where people take him serious more. They had him in matches against Roman Reigns, and like that picture, and even Cena back then, and like that kind of makes you look at Miz in a different level. I personally want him so badly to get rid of that headband. Like, I don't like the robe, and that coat he has is fine, but man, that headband makes him look just like a dumb cosplay person from Karate Kid.
Well, I mean, we just got the new season of Cobra Kai, so it kind of fits this week. If his ring gear is yellow and black, that will be hysterical.
Miz off, Miz off, Miz on, Miz off.
Bobby has a good question here, and I think we can definitely go through this. Do you think that Beth Phoenix shows up tonight with Edge? I don't think she shows up to come out with him, but I don't think there's any way she doesn't make an appearance tonight.
I keep forgetting, and I know it's in the graphic right behind us that says Atlanta, but I keep forgetting the fact that this is not a silly Saudi Arabia show or, somewhere else. Just because it's such a random time to do a show for WWE. So I just always, my head just goes strictly to, oh, this is one of those, yes, we just need money shows. But I don't know, this just makes sense if they want to plant the seeds to that mixed tag at WrestleMania. I mean, you either do this now because unless you do something to where
post-Rumble
Beth Phoenix comes in, helps out Edge, whether it's get the win or prevent a 2-on-1 at the end of the match or something like that. But then I'd really make sure that I'd have Beth Phoenix eliminate Maurice in the one Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And then you do something there, and I think that's a very great way of setting this matchup. But I mean, we'll see.
If I'm fantasy booking a little bit here, and give me a little bit here with this.
I always have time for the fantasy booking.
Yeah. I think you have Miz win tonight with the help of Maurice. You have her help cheat to win. You get Maurice in somewhere in the middle of the Rumble, 11, 12. But you get her in the ring where there's an opportunity where there's nobody of note early on in the Rumble. And she can kind of just dump somebody out without them knowing. And she's the only one in the ring. And like I said, you can do this, 7, 8 and then in the Rumble so that you don't have to really waste a bunch of time and, throw anybody under the bus. And then as soon as she does that, have that 10, 9, 8. And as soon as it comes off, it's Beth. And it's her and Beth for 90 seconds in the ring. And Maurice is running around and sliding out of the ring and doing everything she can to get away from Beth. And then you have either Beth eliminate her or have Maurice, even better, Maurice eliminate Beth. Beth is distracted trying to eliminate somebody, and Maurice just comes in behind and eliminates her. And I think that's a great way to bring both of them in. Use the Women's Rumble, because you're going to need bodies for that Rumble anyways. There's a reason why Maurice looks like she's been in ring gear for weeks. It's because they're getting her ring ready for that Rumble match, because they need women's bodies in that Rumble.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to the Women's Rumble, simply because of how many surprise entrants or returns you can have in that one. I think that's what makes the Rumble itself look very cool. You can still have Lacey Evans and Bayley coming back at that Rumble, and then whatever NXT women, I can only imagine they're going to have a few of them in, and then who knows what nostalgic acts you're going to have, and maybe you even have a debut. Who knows? That would actually be cool. I don't think we've had a debut in the Women's Royal Rumble yet.
I don't think we have. There's some real good possibilities between, like you said, Bayley, Asuka, Lacey. With the NXT side, you've got people like Raquel and Dakota, being said that they're pretty much done in NXT come the end of New Year's Evil on Tuesday night. You can have people like that. You could have a surprise appearance from, the Michelle McCools, the Eves.
Even NXT UK,
yeah,
that'd be a great way.
But then, if we're talking debuts, I mean, she's all over the news right now. What about Big Swole? She's not under contract. Her contract ran out.
Yeah.
What if they make a call? One-off appearance. They don't have to do anything special. She comes in. Her husband's already here. I mean, Cedric's still with the company. As much as she doesn't like what they did with the Hurt Business, and you can tell from that interview she didn't. She's here.
Yeah.
What a way to pick up some publicity with a one-off appearance from Big Swole in the Rumble.
I mean, we couldn't even I mean, I know we're not talking Rumble, but it's hard not to. But
Yeah.
what about like a Tessa Blanchard? Could a Tessa Blanchard versus Charlotte match be a potential thing at WrestleMania?
She is signed with the WOW, isn't she?
I don't know.
I don't know how locked down she is with that.
Yeah.
I know she's part of their group. I don't know what they're locked in as. I don't see WWE touching Tessa right now as much as I want to see Tessa versus Charlotte. I don't see anything remotely happening there.
But, and you know what you can see tonight?
What can I see tonight?
You can see Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. And I will say this, I think this match is going to be a lot better than people are expecting it to be.
Riddick Moss is talented. Like, he's funny and he's a joke and he's been treated with zero respect.
He
this
stole
whole
my
time.
finisher, but I mean, yes, he's very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the dude is very talented in the ring. He's a great, funny, comedic character. He's got good character work. He had good character work in NXT when he was part with Tino Sabatelli. He had good work when he was doing the Riddick Moss, the Riddick regimen when he was in NXT for a little while as well. This Madcap Moss is kind of fun. He really works well with Corbin. Drew's gonna, murder him at some point during this match. Like, it's not going to be a long affair. Give it 5-10 minutes, but Madcap Moss is going to be more entertaining in this match than people give him credit for. I agree.
I would have all the time if Riddick Moss or Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin are the ones that defeat maybe Usos or New Day and become the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I think they would be a very good fit there. And it takes Baron Corbin kind of out of any individual thing, which I think we're all kind of like maybe phased out on.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I wouldn't be mindful if he was to join this group would be the new version of Elias. I think that would be a great fit. However, I do think ultimately this is a match to help Drew McIntyre elevate into that world or Universal Championship picture, because I think him versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania is probably the match that they're looking at. So yeah.
Whether it be WrestleMania or SummerSlam, I think Drew is the next big challenger for Roman after Brock, and because I'm assuming they're running Brock back at Mania. That's my assumption.
I have a Rumble scenario for you that we'll get into later.
Okay.
That I think a lot of people might actually be interested in. And Bobby, there you go. Drew McIntyre's my pick to win. Yeah, I mean, again, like if this is an opportunity where you want to put somebody over on the expense of someone else, like I don't think a loss kills Drew McIntyre, but it would definitely make Madcap Moss.
Yeah, especially if it's a Corbin interference leading to a Madcap Moss win. Like Drew can eat a loss or two, especially into the run to the Rumble, because all you need to do is put Drew in the Rumble, let him eliminate 5 or 7 dudes, and boom, Drew's back on track with no problem.
Another match that I would love, if you don't want Drew McIntyre against Roman Reigns at the Rumble, have him lose this match, have him have a great showing in the Rumble, and that's where you set up him versus Walter at WrestleMania.
What about Drew versus Goldberg? Like, I mean, I know nobody wants to see Goldberg again, but keeping Goldberg out of the title picture, having a nice match with Goldberg, that could be fun. Like, I think Drew could get Goldberg into its, like we saw what Goldberg could do with Lashley when they went no holds barred, and it was actually pretty interesting at Crown Jewel. I'd like to see what he could do with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, and I have a situation later
in
Goldberg, but no, I don't hate it. Like, I really don't, because I thought the Goldberg-Strowman match was actually a lot better than I expected it to be, and I thought it actually helped me believe that Braun Strowman actually was going to win, and even though that was the most thrown together championship match then, I thought it did enough to help Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Now, here is the only match I have where I believe a championship is actually going to change. We have the Intercontinental title match between Shinsuke Nakamura with Boogs in his side against Sami Zayn. and I am fully expecting Sami Zayn to walk out Intercontinental Champion.
Is this match confirmed? I don't have this on my Wikipedia.
Sami Zayn won the Gauntlet match on SmackDown.
No, I know, but I didn't realize that was for tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Wikipedia doesn't lie, does it?
It's since everybody can update it, it is the most up-to-date source in all of the world. No, I like this. I think this could be fun. Yeah, Sami as Intercontinental Champion would be great. Nakamura has had a bad run of it with that title. They've really not given him anything to do. He's gotten Boogs over like nobody's business, which is nice and great. Nakamura with Pat McAfee is absolute gold, and they can never change these two.
I mean, in case Spencer's watching.
That's a Mania match for a year or two down the line where Braun Breaker becomes world champion, I think, at some point. But no, I mean, even
you have to do Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar.
No, you don't do Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar. I said it on NXT, and I'll say it again tonight. If I'm doing Braun Breaker's first WrestleMania match, I want it to be Braun Breaker versus Goldberg.
I mean,
because of all the history with the Steiners, like I think that's the perfect match for him to come into a Mania.
What would you say if you actually saw Braun Breaker with his dad Rick, his uncle Scott against the Bloodline?
I mean, is there any way that WWE puts enough history behind them to allow Scott back on television to do that match?
Well, I mean, it could be worse. Could put John Laurinaitis back on TV.
Honestly, I'd be happier to see John Laurinaitis than I would be Scott Steiner.
I mean, that would be a cool little dynamic, though.
Like, if we're gonna do that, why don't we do the Steiners, like the Steiner family versus the New Day, like as a full threesome again? Like that would be fun because the jokes that would go back and forth between, like, I think you could really get some good segments between Scott Steiner and Biggie.
You don't think the Usos are gonna roast them either, though?
No, I know they will, but like, I think you can make it more of a fun thing if you do it with the New Day versus if you do it with like Roman and Jimmy and Jay. It becomes more of a main event feud, and they take the comedy out. And I think if you're gonna do Braun Breaker with all of his family, you do that match with the comedy, and in that case, you do the New Day.
I also love how Bobby is staying on point a lot better than we are right now.
He is. He wants to see Sami Zayn. I mean, it was his I want to see Drew McIntyre versus Braun Breaker that got us on this. But no.
Yeah,
I think it's Sami Zayn. I agree. I definitely think it's Sami Zayn. There's no way,
Bobby.
I am the loosest definition of professional that this company has. But that being said, like, yeah, I mean, I see Sami Zayn winning. If Nakamura needs to drop the title because he's not doing anything with it. So unless you have something big for him at Mania, might as well.
I mean, do we see a potential split between Nakamura and Boogs?
Not anytime soon. There's no reason.
But it is WWE.
I agree. And they'll split them up for the dumbest of reasons. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. That being said, I just think it's, even for them, that would be too out of the blue right now.
I mean, would it not make sense if you had Boogs, like, again, like, I'll bring him back up, but him and Elias could be... Imagine if you had Sami Zayn with Elias against Boogs and Nakamura. I'd have time for that.
It could be fun. Yeah. I'm curious to see what they do when they bring Elias back. And I say if because it's obvious that since we've not gotten any video packages, that he's obviously not returning anytime soon. I mean, Veer Mahan is coming. Don't you worry about that. Veer Mahan is coming. I mean, I don't know when he's coming, but he's coming.
Well, I mean, isn't that the nice thing about the Rumbles, though? That's kind of where you kind of get those answers.
Yeah.
So,
And by the way, just so I'm clear, this match is probably not happening tonight because it's not on their. It's not even on WWE's preview for the show.
Well, WWE, you guns and fucked up.
Yeah, but no, I mean, if this show is on the show, if this match is on the show, it is likely going to be Sami Zayn winning. We get the Boar's Nest.
I'll just let you do all this because you're on the pulse and I am not. No. That's. It's good that one of us is.
Yeah, we're watching the comments, guys. Don't you worry.
Yes. So who do you think is taking the title here? Do you think
Sami Zayn?
Yeah. If the match happens.
If the match happens tonight. Yeah.
If not, then I really hope it's the main event to SmackDown.
I would love to see it in that main event slot, but the last thing we're going to see
Give
on
these guys
SmackDown
2025 because this is a time where you really don't need Roman Reigns to do a lot of segments. Just make SmackDown really female heavy because it's not that heavy on the show at all.
Mm-hmm.
Have some tag team titles or big team spotlight, and then give the spotlight to the Intercontinental title because fans like them. Some Intercontinental Championship comments. Let me know if I'm right on that one. As I take this now to, let's go with the Raw tag team titles here. We got Street Profits against Rated RKO. I think our Rated RKO is going to keep these. I think this is one of the best dynamics they've had in a very long time between Riddle and Randy Orton. I know it's coming to an end because how do you not have Randy Orton versus Riddle at WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know if Street Profits, if they're going to pull the plug on Street Profits, who also are wearing gear made by Bianca Belair tonight.
Which is fantastic and good for them. And she's an absolute gem when it comes to designing ring gear.
Yeah. I have... If Street Profits were to win the titles, then at least they're keeping them together, which is something I appreciate. I just don't want to see them as champions again right now. I'd prefer to see like the Viking Raiders win a championship and be used as a tag team. I don't know. I'm very curious. Oh, does this match not also scream? Montez Ford jumps really high and we see an RKO out of nowhere.
See, here's the thing about this match. This match is Riddle's second, in my mind, it's the match that I'm second most excited to see Riddle have in the next 7 days. Because on NXT New Year's Evil, it'll be Riddle and MSK versus Walter and Imperium.
Yeah.
And honestly, seeing Riddle and Walter in a 6-man tag is much more interesting than watching him and Randy versus the Street Profits. And that's nothing of hate against the Street Profits, and that's nothing I hate against RK Bro. RK Bro has been absolutely fantastic, and I am waiting for this WrestleMania match because I think the seeds get planted when Riddle eliminates Randy from the Rumble. I think that's how this starts. Because that's the kind of thing Riddle's going to do. And Randy's going to get irritated. And then Riddle's going to be like, bro, every man for yourself, bro. And then we end up getting to Riddle versus Randy. And Riddle's going to win. And Randy's going to make him look like an effing star. And it's going to be fantastic. But I could care less about this match.
I can also see Randy Orton doing that to Riddle and just be like, kid, you're not getting it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I just want
win, or he does something like that to beat Randy, and he uses one of Randy's like old tricks against him or something like that at WrestleMania. I have time for that. Like I think they're very specific on what they're doing with these guys, and when they're very specific, it tends to make sense. Throwback, very nice to see you. Hopefully, you had a great New Year's. And,
2022, the year me and Throwback do something in person. I'm telling you right now, so it's on camera. But
Let's hope
We can throw back a
2022 is
vintage.
a year where a lot of us can do some things in person. That'd be very
Hopefully.
nice. And Bobby's picking RK Bro to win against the Street Profits. I'm leaning that way. I know I've already said I only think one title's changing hands. However, my out is that if the Intercontinental match doesn't happen, I still said one title will change hands.
I do too. I have a title that's going to change hands, but
Oh,
I want to, but I think I'm only going to get one.
I would love like a few of them, but I mean, it'd be nice if WWE does then totally off the cuff, but I just don't think they will, especially with the Rumble being right there. You have rated RKO as well?
I do have Roger. I rated RK, bro.
I mean, if this match really helps out Street Profits, then that's great. But when your biggest act is the champions right now, it's really hard to kind of overshadow that or even come on. Same to you. Same to you. 2022 day one-ish. I don't know. I don't know. It's just. I'll go to the SmackDown tag titles because we just did like the day one-ish, or I just did the day one-ish.
Yeah. So did throwback.
How do you not have the Usos go over on a show where day one is there? But it's a
Because you're
WWE
WWE,
thing to do
yep.
to make them lose the titles. Like it really would be. But my thing is as soon as the Usos lose the tag titles, then I think Roman losing the Universal title is near, and I just don't think they're doing that until at the very least WrestleMania. So not a prediction. It's a preview.
I'm not allowed to challenge for the title.
I'm not even the champion. I just beat Spencer. Like that's all I do now.
The internal championship.
Oh, I mean,
until we get
my
Terrence from accounting
reasoning is I had to give the championship to somebody from accounting, so our budget becomes more on track. That's
well,
my reason.
if Pluggo would stop blowing it every week and getting people like Sean Ross Sapp on the show, which by the way, you should go watch Between Two Beards. They just had the Beardies this week. Go give them a look.
I did this for Love Wrestling. I dropped the championship for the better part of the brand.
Did you do it for The Rock too?
If he can get me some of that like energy drink or tequila money, then yes, I did. You can keep it all as Hollywood Millions. I want tequila money.
But no, like there's, by the way, just so we're clear, with this next match, the Usos versus the New Days, there's no loser in this match. There's going to be somebody who loses the match. But like we've seen this match 100 times and I'll watch it 100 more. There's no bad match to be had between any of these four guys. And I'm going to have a ball watching this match. And I feel like this is the match that opens the show.
It very well could. I mean, there are two tag team title matches. Yeah, I mean, I do not want New Day for another championship. I don't think they need it. I mean, if you're going to put Xavier Woods over in the King of the Ring, only to give him a tag title, I don't think he did enough to help elevate Xavier Woods.
I'm hoping he gets an Intercontinental title shot out of all this. That'd be nice.
Something, right? Like, at least something.
King Woods versus Sami Zayn at Mania? That sounds like something I could watch.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if they did like one of those. Remember when Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental title? They just did a multi-man Intercontinental ladder match. Just do the same thing and then have Xavier Woods win it. Like, that would be cool.
It would. Just don't have him lose it in 18 seconds to Brock Lesnar.
Or the next night to The Miz.
I mean, you can have him lose it the next night. That's fine. Just don't have him lose it in 18 seconds.
Yeah.
Poor Kofi.
I didn't hate the Kofi thing as much as everyone else.
No, I mean, it's good TV, but it definitely wasn't a smart end to the It didn't play into anything. I mean, it was one thing if it would have played into something, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Kofi just dissolved. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
I mean, we are kind of talking Kofi.
We are talking Kofi, but we're not talking
just going
Kofi
after the tag titles. It'd be very interesting to see the story. I think there is a story to be told here. They really haven't done enough New Day versus Bloodline, but they kept it a little bit open.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's something they are just keeping in their back pocket and be like, well, we have this out.
I mean, I could see it for Survivor Series next year if Roman's still running the roost and say the New Day have the tag team championships and Biggie gets moved back over to SmackDown during the draft or something next year. Yeah. I could definitely see a nice little thing between the New Day and the Bloodline leading up to Survivor Series. That could be fun.
Throwback says he has the title and all is welcome.
Yes. I think you had a shot at that title at one point in the tournament.
And I still have a gripe about that, by the way. Talking about a show where one of the guys that I'm against, or the guy I'm up against, is literally in the know of the show and was at the show. So the match that was later announced, we didn't choose, and he initially got it wrong. But it didn't count because he knew what was going on in the show now.
Wow.
Sami Zayn? I'm stealing your gimmick, brother.
It's a conspiracy.
But needless to say, yeah, go check out Throwback and the crazy Wicked Pinfall Championship stuff they're doing. It's fun stuff. Speaking of fun, I think this is the time to go to the Raw Women's Championship match. Becky
There's nothing fun about this.
Well, it could be a fun match. It really will.
As long as Liv wins, it'll be a fun match.
See, I don't think she needs to win here. I actually don't think it makes sense for her to win now.
No. Liv versus the Raw Women's Championship. Liv doesn't need to win. Liv versus Becky, anybody but Becky.
See, my thing is, I would say yes if this was after Mania, but I would love to see Liv Morgan become the Money in the Bank winner. And I hope this is a way for her to just gain the momentum and solidify herself as more of a contender for the women's division. I don't think she needs a win. Plus, I think we're all women's title match at WrestleMania needs to be a big match.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see Bayley versus Becky for the first time ever on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
But
I agree with all that.
I mean...
See, here's my thing.
It's a really bad spot for Liv because, like, I just don't like this spot for Liv right now because I don't think they're putting the title on her, and she badly needs something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's undeniable. I don't know. If it's one of those things where she beats Becky, but they end up reversing the decision because maybe there's like a foot on the rope or something and Becky retains and it's something like that and they keep it going. She has another match at Royal Rumble or something. I don't know.
Here's the thing I would do. If I were them, I'd give her the bump from having a 3-week title reign. Have her win the title tonight. Have Liv win. Give her that moment. That's that thing. And then just have Becky just beat her outright, beat her clean at the Rumble and build to Becky versus Bayley. Because you can understand Becky coming back and beating Liv. And on any given day, Becky's, in the fans' minds, one of the greatest women's wrestlers in the world. So there's no reason 3 weeks later she couldn't win that title back. And then you go ahead and you build. And then, like you say, Liv wins Money in the Bank, comes for Becky one more time when she least expects it. And then that can be her official coronation. Like Daniel Bryan had a title reign before he was the Yes champion. He had that championship that he won when he cashed in Money in the Bank. So, I mean, her first title reign doesn't need to be that massive moment. You can have the moment tonight at day one and then lose it back at the Rumble and have a good Rumble and hell, you can have her be the runner-up in the Rumble and have her go, I did everything I could. I just didn't do it. And you can have her face Bianca or Doudrop or whoever at Mania.
I have a scenario for you.
All right.
What if Alexa Bliss comes back and costs Liv Morgan? Because she would definitely be someone that could help elevate Liv, help her actually in that. She is good enough in the ring to get by.
Mm-hmm.
She is very good on the microphone. Probably Becky Lynch comparable.
Better than Becky, I think.
Yeah. But her character ability and the fact that they can go and kind of twinkle in the area where Alexa Bliss was the one who was the female to Bray Wyatt. Liv Morgan was rumored heavily to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
I think this would be a very interesting dynamic to help bring more out of Liv to get her more ready there, because I still think she still has another level she can get to. And
I wouldn't mind Alexa being involved. If Alexa's involved, I want it post match though. I want Liv to lose or win clean. I think she needs this match because of the finish, the last match with Becky holding the ropes and Becky constantly doing the holding the ropes thing. I think we need a clean finish at some point from a Becky Lynch match. So I wouldn't mind having Becky either win or lose clean and then have, say, Alexa come out and attack Liv and get that feud started. Bobby picks he says that Liv will win against Becky. And Bubba Duke agrees with you that it was a good angle with Alexa coming back. And he also, going back to another match, RK Bro all day.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's just, I think it all depends on what you're looking at for WrestleMania at this point. Because all roads lead to WrestleMania.
It depends on who's coming back. It depends on who's ready to come back. It depends on what are your plans with Bayley? What are your plans with Alexa?
Asuka.
What are your plans with Asuka?
Yeah. And that's just, I don't know, there's so many things that can go into this, because what happens if Bayley isn't going to be at the Rumble? What happens if all these females that we're talking about aren't going to be at the Rumble? What do you do then? And my thing is, would it make Liv more over if she won the title tonight, won the title WrestleMania, or what happens if the big moment is the Raw after Mania? Liv Morgan wins the title. I think that's a huge spike in popularity.
Liv's proven that she can get the people behind her.
Yeah.
And they haven't botched the booking yet. They almost did when they basically made her non-existent after the Money in the Bank, because there was everybody who was behind her. There was a large group of people that wanted her to win Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And she did.
She said that's kind of when she started to realize fans were kind of behind her. So unless maybe that's the same time or people backstage are like, okay, I think we got something here, and they wanted to figure out, okay, how can we do this? And like that would explain the lull, but at the same time, I think as long as you have what's best for her long term, not just a short term moment, but a long term, I think that's what matters.
Yeah.
And I don't think, like, we also have to take into account, like, Becky has never been pinned for the Raw Women's title in almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
So, I mean, if you're going to have Liv be that person, I don't think they've made that big, or maybe they don't look at it that way, but I think that needs to be built bigger. That person who beats her, I don't know.
There's a lot up in the air.
WWE being different. Let's put the title on Liv and see where it goes.
Like I said, we don't have to have this as some big momentous moment where she keeps the title for 6 months. Like, this is a believable story where she gets the better of a cocky and arrogant Becky Lynch, who thinks that she can beat everybody and that she's the biggest star in the world, and she gets caught. Like, that's a legitimate story that you can do in this match, and where she can lose the title in a couple weeks with a more focused and more ready Becky, and Becky can go on her march to Mania, and then you can pick right up with Liv again after Mania.
I just watched a match that had Shawn Michaels and Triple H go for the World Heavyweight Championship, and I think Bischoff was either the guest referee or special referee or whatever.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels super kicks Triple H, collapse pin, but his shoulders were also on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
Bischoff ends up counting both, and everyone thinks Shawn Michaels won. But then he said, hey, you know as well as anybody, in the case of a tie, because your shoulders are down too,
advantage.
I would have all the time in the world for something like that.
Yeah. Like, there's numerous ways that they can go with this. And almost, as long as they don't involve her being squashed in 18 seconds like they did to Bianca Belair, all of them are good.
Yeah, like, I actually, when I'm thinking about that, if you had a moment and you play off, like, she pins Becky, but she also kind of screws herself too without realizing, and everyone's thinking she won, her music plays, the announcement's made, but then all of a sudden, like, maybe Sonya comes out and says, well, and like she just takes that heat, because she can definitely handle that heat.
Oh God, yeah.
And we all know Atlanta will give you that heat. I think that's what we got to take into account. This is, like, they call it Hot Atlanta for a reason. Yeah, I mean,
there's lots of outs here.
On Monday saying, I beat you, and you know that. She's like, you didn't beat me, I beat me, and I beat you. There's a lot of validation right there.
Yeah, the outs here are endless. All they got to do is do something semi-creative.
Yeah,
and you can even do the predictable thing and let Becky win. Like, as much as I dislike Becky Lynch as an in-ring competitor and such and stuff like that, as much as I'm not a fan, like, I understand that she's got a massive amount of support, and that's good. And she can easily win this match with no harm, no foul. But it's like, just do something. Give me a reason to continue to care about Liv Morgan after this match is over.
Yeah. Now, speaking of creative, we are going to the WWE Championship Fatal 4-Way.
Oh boy. I don't think, by the way, I'll say it right now. I don't know if this match is going to be a Fatal 4-Way by the time the match actually happens.
Why do you say that?
I don't think
Biggie versus Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins.
Yes. I don't think Seth makes this match. I think there's a more than 50-50 shot that somebody in this match isn't set to go and isn't ready to go, and they go triple threat here. And this is for the Liv Morgan match. Yeah.
And Bobby says correct on that, because there are so many outs, there are so many things you can do, so many ways you can go, that I'm actually more interested in those than I am the match. But at the same time, you got to watch the match to get there, and I'm very curious on how they're going to tell this story and where they end up going with it.
And the Raw main event match that they gave them, the way they gave them 15 minutes or so at the end of the show, was really good. Like, there's a couple spots where you saw that Liv was a little bit out of her element, that she's, still a little green and still working her way to where she needs to be. But that's fine. Like, she was in a spot that she's never been in. The big match main event spot, we saw Bianca Belair and Sasha, and what it took for them, who've been in the big spot, who've been in the big moments, and what it took for them to overcome the moment that was happening. that massive moment of what they were doing in that night one main event, and what it took for them to have that killer match. But it took 3 or 4 minutes for them to get in rhythm for it. And Liv has that. She has it under her belt, and she can go forward and really use that to have a better match tonight. And I'm looking forward to that. But again, back to the WWE Championship match.
One point I want to put out, just because we got a comment from Bobby, will anyone make an announcement that they're about to enter the Royal Rumble tonight? I would love to see Naomi do something, and then Sonya says, well, you can't just, you have to earn your way in. And she, almost puts the block against her to where she doesn't, enters herself in. Because I would have all the time in the world if Naomi wasn't in the Rumble, but her sole point was to just make sure that Sonya got eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would, and if she's not even a participant, but she's the one that eliminates Sonya, and just that subtle storytelling back when, remember when Michaels was trying to get that taker match, go that route in the sense of trying to do those things. Let's hope to hell Johnny Knoxville's not in this match.
Oh, come on. You don't want Johnny Knoxville in the Rumble?
And that guy and I share the same birthday? No, I don't.
But no, getting back to this is where I think our title change happens. I think somebody comes out of this match as the new WWE champion. The Biggie title reign is good. I know a lot of people have said that I like it. I know a lot of people said that they didn't like it, that it hasn't hit where they want it to be, and all those kinds of things. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. I think it's been all right. Here's where I think either you put the title on, if he's in the match, I think Seth wins here. And I think you have a Biggie chasing Seth Rollins going into the WrestleMania season. Or this is where you put the title on Kevin Owens. And you give him that spotlight. And you make Kevin Owens versus Seth the Mania match.
All right. We're getting into what?
Yes.
Fantasy booking.
This is your Rumble thing that we've talked about all show.
Biggie wins this match.
Okay.
He retains the title all towards WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I have a potential Royal Rumble winner in this match. However, that champion goes to SmackDown, or that winner goes to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would love to see Goldberg challenge Biggie at WrestleMania for the WWE title, and that is Goldberg establishing Biggie as champion. Then the next night on Monday Night Raw, that's when Seth Rollins finally gets his one-on-one match, wins the title from Biggie. And my goal, if I was anybody in creative, is to honestly make WrestleMania must-see, Royal Rumble very must-see, but also make the Raw after WrestleMania one of the highest rated Raws you ever have in the modern era. But I have Bobby Lashley winning the Royal Rumble, going on to challenge a WWE Universal Champion on SmackDown that we'll get to later. But I think Biggie, it makes a lot of sense whether he's in the match, Seth Rollins, but even Kevin Owens, I think that's who he beats to retain this championship. But I have other plans for Bobby Lashley.
This match is going to be fun regardless. I mean, you've got, Seth and Kevin will do whatever it takes to kill themselves to make this match fantastic. Biggie and Bobby Lashley are ultra talented and super in for whatever it takes. These four guys have chemistry and will make all of this work. There's no bad outcome to this. There's no, oh, this was a bad decision. How dare they put the title on so-and-so? There's no bad outcome to this. This match is going to be fun. It's going to be a great time. And the champion is going to be somebody great. And going into Mania, that guy is going to have everything he needs. I would love to see Biggie versus Goldberg. And honestly, I think that might be our Saudi show, our quote-unquote February Saudi show that's potentially
Even if
rumored.
it's a Royal Rumble main event, I'm okay. Or not
Yeah.
like main event, but like the title match there. I'm completely fine because I don't want to see Goldberg in a Royal Rumble, but I do want to see Big E have this championship match, and I think it's important as championship match because I know at that point they'll have Goldberg be the guy that helps Big E get put over,
Mhm.
and I think that's very important for Big E, and I think you do this for Big E.
Mhm.
So you have Rollins winning.
I have either Rollins or Owens. I'll say Owens just for the sake of picking one or one of two.
I'm gonna stick with Big E for the hope that we can get Big E versus Goldberg for the WWE title at some point. Because
Which
that's
would be
the
fantastic.
only time I'm actually I want to see Goldberg in a WWE title match. I'm kind of stuck on Rollins and Owens. Because there's always, I think this would be I just thought it would have been a great story is if this year at WrestleMania we saw Owens and Zayn both holding up their respective brand matches, like championships, and like hugging and have your Benoit Eddie moment. I just think that would have been so cool and just such a change.
There's no confirmed show for Saudi in February. There's just an empty spot on the calendar in February where they haven't announced anything, which has led a lot of people to believe that there's potentially a Saudi show happening. They owe an extra show or two because of the COVID pandemic.
Have they not done Elimination Chamber or announced that for this year yet?
There's no announced Elimination Chamber.
Because that's normally the pay-per-view in February, is it not?
Yeah. Yes. This is WWE 2022 pay-per-view schedule.
One thing who would, if Rollins was not to win the title tonight, who would be the best guy you have him feuding with moving out there if it's not WWE Championship related?
Damien Priest.
You like to see that?
I'd love to see Damien Priest versus Seth Rollins. I think that would kill.
I was gonna say I would love to see him go with someone else because he's been doing such a fantastic job on help elevating other people. He is the perfect guy. I would love to see help in the NXT or in the NXT 2.0 thing for like a little run, but I'd love to see him versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
That would be great.
And I would love to see Kevin Owens against Finn Balor at WrestleMania.
Those would be good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just typing out the pay-per-views. Actually, I'll just say them. So I've looked it up. We have day one tonight from Atlanta. On Saturday the 29th, we have the Royal Rumble in St. Louis. There's a TBA for February. Nothing's been officially announced. So there's no Elimination Chamber, no nothing. And then Saturday, April 2nd and Sunday, April 3rd, we have WrestleMania from Dallas. We have a TBA in May and June, one from Providence, Rhode Island on Sunday, May 8th, and Sunday, June 5th from Chicago. We then have Money in the Bank the 2nd of July, so July 4th weekend. July 30th, earlier than expected, from Nashville, we have SummerSlam.
July
SummerSlam.
Well, I mean, it's like
July 30th.
2 days before August,
but still, that show is normally late August, and they're pushing it to.
That's like back in the day when WrestleMania was in March.
Yeah. Saturday, September 3rd, or Sunday, September 4th, there's a TB announced show that they don't even have a location for. There's a show in October that's not announced that they have no location for. That's expected to be the other Saudi show. And then they have Survivor Series in November in Boston.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of There's a lot of empty spots for pay-per-views. Seth and Damien would bring the house down. I'd even watch WWE to see that.
I mean, another one that I'd like to see Damien Priest against is Edge.
Yeah.
I think Damien Priest would get a lot out of an Edge feud.
Yep. And I want to see Edge versus AJ, as we were talking about people for AJ. Like, that's my SummerSlam match. Like, if Edge is doing Miz, if Edge is working with Miz at Mania, give me Edge versus AJ at SummerSlam.
So we now get to, and I believe this is the obvious main event, is the Universal title match versus Roman Reigns defending the reigning champion against Brock Lesnar. People
Roman Reigns,
why don't you yell it? Because it would hurt your ears on this microphone if I yelled it. So I will.
Brock Lesnar.
I would not be shocked if Paul Heyman cost Roman Reigns the championship tonight. Would not be shocked. But I also would not be shocked to see. Yeah, I was just about to say, I would also not be shocked to see Paul Heyman keep the championship for Roman Reigns. I would love to see Sami Zayn help Brock Lesnar win the championship.
That would be great. Sammy and Brock, Canadian friends.
Like, imagine if he's Intercontinental Champion and Brock is Universal Champion. Just how cool would that be?
You've done everything you can to build Roman, and Roman's now a big deal. He means a lot. This championship reign, while lengthy and in some people's minds tedious, it means a lot when it ends. I don't want to end it with Brock. Like, I don't want Brock to be the one who ends it. Like, I want somebody to get something out of winning this. Brock doesn't get anything for dethroning Roman. If you're going to dethrone Roman, it has to be Nakamura, Ridge Holland, Biggie, Drew McIntyre,
I'm
Corbin.
I'm completely against Drew McIntyre being that guy because I don't think he needs it.
No, but I mean,
the best guy that could do it could be Walter if he was to be on the main roster.
Yeah, but I don't disagree. I'm just saying, like, the idea of, like, I love the idea of Brock being Universal Champion. Brock and this Roman are so much fun, and everything leading into this has been so much fun. But you've painted yourself into a corner now where Roman's, it's like the Undertaker streak. It means too much to just give it away, and you've already made the mistake of giving one of those to Brock Lesnar when he didn't need it. You don't want to give the other one to him too. Like, this means a lot now, and it needs to go to somebody. And we can disagree of, like, because I don't think Drew needs it either, but I think it helps Drew because Drew needs that big moment in front of fans, because in front of fans is not when he was at his best as world champion.
No.
And you know, he really did a really good job in those first 5 or 6 months in the pandemic era as your world champion, dethroning Brock Lesnar. I just think that he earned it.
I still think one of the best options to beat Roman Reigns for the Universal title is actually still Seth Rollins.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I think that might be the most fitting. Okay, and like, I don't know. But like, the scenario I wanted to go with was, imagine if Brock Lesnar walks out Universal Champion, holds the title to WrestleMania. My pick would win the Royal Rumble, or not pick, but like scenario to make this work would be Bobby Lashley switching over to SmackDown, challenging Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, and we finally get that match. But then, as I say that, and I was thinking this, I'm like, well, Brock Lesnar's a free agent and doesn't have to necessarily fight anybody on SmackDown at WrestleMania. Therefore, you don't really need Lashley winning the Rumble. But Lashley winning a Rumble would be pretty solid of a choice, too. Not going to dispute that. But again, like, I think I kind of want Kevin Owens to win the Rumble. I think that's exactly what I want, to be honest.
There's no front runner. Like, there's nobody that has. No. There's no storyline that you need a Rumble winner. There's nobody who's sitting there and that you go, oh, they're a Rumble winner or they're a Rumble winner. Like, there's a bunch of guys. Like, if Seth doesn't win, could he win the Rumble? Sure.
Yeah.
If could Edge win the Rumble again? He could. He shouldn't, but he could.
No. I didn't want him to win last year.
Kevin Owens, could he win the Rumble? Sure, Kevin Owens could win the Rumble. Bobby Lashley could win the Rumble. Big E could win the Rumble if he loses tonight. You could have Big E win the Rumble, and then you can set up Bloodline versus New Day on SmackDown.
I would love to see Walter win the Rumble and have Imperium against the Bloodline.
There you go. You got Walter.
That'd be pretty cool.
The men's Rumble, there are so many ifs, ands, and anybody can kind of win. There's no definitive front runner. And I think tonight will tell us a lot. Because if Brock loses tonight, which I think he will, as I'm picking, I acknowledge my tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
Acknowledge my
but
guy I used to watch at Commonwealth Stadium, Roman Reigns, former Edmonton Eskimo of the Canadian Football League.
But yeah, I mean, Brock is another potential, would the fans like it? No, but I could see WWE booking Brock to win the Rumble. And being like, Roman, I want one more shot.
See, if we're getting the Brock Lesnar right now, I don't think the fans are against it.
No, but I also don't think the fans really want Brock to win the Rumble.
No.
Like, would the fans hate it if we saw more Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns? No, but at the same time, it's not like they want him to win the Rumble.
They will grow sick of it. And in a weird way, I can see it going that way, kind of like where New Day versus Usos kind of are. Like, nobody's going to complain about it because they know what they're going to get out of it. Same with Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. We know what we get, but at the same time, we just don't want to see it 100,000 times, because as much as they wanted Drew McIntyre to be WWE champion, they got sick of Drew McIntyre as WWE champion too. So got to be careful on that.
But overall, this is a fun card. There's a lot that can happen. It's somewhat predictable, but at the same time, it's WWE, and they can make some funny decisions that do weird things.
This is a show where, if you're thinking very logical, it's very predictable of a show. However, they really did a good job of really turning up the what if on this. And that is why I think this show might be one of the most or more interesting shows WWE has put on in a while. Because fans eat what if. Like Stone Cold drinks beer after a stunner.
Yeah. And Bobby, just to say something, WWE really wanted this match too, especially Triple H, because he booked this match. This match pre-pandemic was booked to happen in Blackpool at NXT TakeOver Blackpool 2. Yeah. This match was taking place. Finn had flown over to the UK and had to get an exception to get back when pandemic started, because they were getting ready to do this match pre-WrestleMania weekend for in 2020.
Yeah, because I believe he at one point was tagged to take the UK title off of Walter before it actually went to Dragunov.
Ilya Dragunov, yeah.
Which, man, Balor versus Dragunov.
Balor versus Bate.
Oh my God.
Balor versus Dunn, Balor versus Walter. Like, there was a lot of fun matches in NXT UK before the pandemic.
Balor versus Jordan Devlin, teacher versus student. Still, I still want to see that tag going up against Mustache Mountain. I think that's just a cool dynamic. Teacher versus student versus teacher versus student.
Yeah, I mean, Devlin has his own little, There's things about Devlin that people love and hate now because of everything that's happened over the past couple of years. But
sure.
That being said, Devlin's a fantastic in-ring talent.
More polarizing figures in pro wrestling, please.
I'm all for polarizing. Just be polarizing in the right way. Be John Cena. Don't be Joey Janela.
I mean, but with that being said, if we don't know all the details, then we can't.
Really, I agree. I hold no judgment. I hold no judgment. Nothing ever happened of it. But that being said, there are people who were named and everything that went on. And
if we're gonna go there, here's somebody I would love to see in WWE, either in NXT UK or potential. I would love to see a villain in WWE.
If only. I mean,
yeah,
the potential for that. Yeah, the potential for that one was endless. Like, that dude. all the skill in the world, but things happen, and it's just some people are terrible people, some people are good people, and a lot of people we don't know what kind of people they are. And you just got to kind of, everybody takes their own pick, and you use the best information that you have to make a judgment call. And remember that these people are just people, like all these wonderful wrestlers who do all of this for our entertainment and go through all the pain. Remember that they're people. Yeah. They have lives, they have day-to-day lives, and
they also have their side of the story that we can't forget.
I agree.
And sometimes we don't always. I think it's very easy to jump to conclusion and not listen to all sides of the story. Mm-hmm. So we got to make sure we do that. Closing thoughts on day one. What match do you think is going to steal a show? Which match do you think is a dark horse? And what match do you think? Let's actually go a completely different route. Which match do you think is going to fail on the expectation?
The match that I think has the biggest chance to not go the way that the company wants it to go is going to be RK Bro versus the Street Profits. All signs point to this being a fun, fantastic match, but I can see this match failing to hit anything. Because with me, it's one of the matches I'm least looking forward to seeing, because I'm more excited to see what Riddle and Randy do in the future, and I'm more excited to see what Riddle does on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Match I think is a dark horse that is going to come out of nowhere and make people really excited is the pre-show match. Cesaro and Ricochet versus Holland and Sheamus has all the potential in the world, and given it's on the pre-show, will have all the time in the world to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I think that match is going to be great. The match that steals the show, I mean, until they don't do it, I'm going to keep saying them and wait to see what happens and be proved wrong. The Usos versus the New Day.
So I really like kind of how that was your answer, because I think that could be the match that I think fails expectations because of how high the expectations will be for those.
Yep.
I think the dark horse match is Edge versus Miz.
No.
I really do think Edge is doing some of his best in-ring storytelling that he's ever had lately. And I think the match is honestly what I think it always should be. That is the main event, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. I think Roman is just on a completely different stratosphere in terms of how he is as a performer, and Brock Lesnar is quite undoubtedly a performer that doesn't get enough recognition and could very well be on that Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling when his career is all over.
Yeah.
I think Roman Reigns is the most believable champion in pro wrestling today. These guys have a wicked chemistry, and not a lot of guys go toe to toe, move to move, strike for strike with Brock Lesnar and make it real.
I was going to say, like,
Roman Reigns is one of those guys.
Yeah, Roman and Brock have this. Brock has had this history, and we've known this for years and years and years, that Brock picks who he gets up for. You know what I'm saying? Like, in certain matches, he gets up for him, and he does everything he needs to make it a great match. I mean, we all remember Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar in the street fight at Mania. Yeah. But like, look at The Undertaker and Lesnar and how real some of those matches felt. We look at, hell, even these Roman matches, like all of the Roman Brock matches have felt good, and they've been a decent match. Samoa Joe, he likes working with Roman.
Drew McIntyre's another one too.
Yeah.
I wish that match went a lot longer than it did.
Yeah. But I can see Roman versus Brock being 10, 15, 20 minutes. And I can see Brock lasting all 20. Because people compare Brock and Goldberg unfairly together as, legends who come and go, and they'll do 2 or 3 shows, and then they'll leave, and they don't come back for months at a time. And yeah, Brock works Brock's schedule, and Brock doesn't care enough about the product to be there day in and day out. I agree. It's who he is, and it's what happens. That being said, Brock cares enough about what he does in the ring and the story he's telling inside the ring and on camera that him and Roman is going to knock it out of the park. And you put in Paul Heyman, and we don't know what's going to happen with Paul Heyman. It would be so easy to say Paul Heyman wins. You know, Paul Heyman helps Brock win because Roman punched him in the face. But we don't know that that's what's going to happen. Yeah. It could very well be the opposite.
And then how much of a swerve would it be if Paul Heyman helps Roman retain? Another all these are reasons to why I want to see Walter versus Brock once. Just give it to me once. Actually, I even want to see Dragunov against Brock because I think that would be a very intense match. Also, I'm going to throw this out there. The WrestleMania match I want for Sami Zayn if he's the Intercontinental Champion, John Cena.
Bring back that Intercontinental title, the U.S. Open Challenge.
And how much do you think a conspiracy would be if John Cena was the one who became Intercontinental Champion at WrestleMania?
That'd be fun. Like as long as
never been done with John Cena is not the easiest thing to do.
And it would fit in with the conspiracy gimmick, and it wouldn't be him going over a younger talent like in a way to hurt them. Like it would totally help put Sami Zayn over. Mm-hmm. Like there's so many yeses to that, and it brings back the whole, you know, Bret Hart brought Sami Zayn out to face John Cena.
Another thing I was going to.
Like there's so much good story in that it makes a whole lot of sense. Because John Cena's got people forget the things that John Cena has done for younger talent lately, because of all the things he didn't do in his prime and he wasn't allowed to do in his prime for younger talent. Because I don't think all of those decisions were his own. No. But like you look at, and I go back to the U.S. Open Challenge and that last U.S. title run where he had a championship and he was trying to make younger stars. It's Neville, it's Cody, it's Seth, it's Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. It's all those guys.
Cesaro too.
Cesaro. And then you have like making Elias a bigger star.
Well, even Bobby Lashley, if we want to really go back, he helped Bobby Lashley out huge.
Yep. But then you go to people like the people he beat, but made them feel bigger. And you go with people like Baron Corbin. And you go with people like Elias, Jinder Mahal, people like that. Like just people that he was able to work with, and while not letting them win, he made them feel like a bigger deal. And then you get to things like putting over The Undertaker in a squash match at WrestleMania. Like John Cena has enough ego to say that that you would never think that Cena would be in a squash match this late in his career, but he was. And then he goes ahead and he puts over Roman Reigns. And while Roman Reigns isn't a younger star, I mean, it was a nice thing. And then the ability to do the Firefly Funhouse the way he did, to take an entire year plus off. And the only thing that convinced him to come back after all of that time was a chance to redo and put over Roman Reigns again and to make this Roman look like a bigger deal at SummerSlam. And he literally came in to do SummerSlam and leave. Like, there's a lot of good.
I think it'd be very cool if Sami Zayn does like that open challenge at WrestleMania. We hear Bret Hart's music. And he introduces John Cena. Oh my God. I would actually pop. I would pop so hard for that.
That'd be a fun one too.
Yeah.
Walter coming to the United States is the biggest problem for all these. Any of these Walter versus matches, you've got to understand that it's
Walter in the US, from all the rumor mill, a lot more likely to happen now than it's ever been,
which is great, and I'm all for it. The rumor is
that he is no longer with his ex-wife, who did not want to leave Europe. He is now dating Ginny, who is very okay with moving to America.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, talk about somebody I'd love to see in NXT 2.0. If you've not seen Ginny, you've done yourself a disservice, and you need to go watch her. The couture style heel gimmick that she's doing, while it's very reminiscent of things that were done by Taya Valkyrie when she was in WWE as Frankie Monet, and it's things that were done by Aaliyah, and it's things that were done, sort of kind of by Tiffany Stratton right now. Ginny is on another level of in-ring talent and character work to a lot of them, with the exception of Frankie Monet. And if you don't know who she is, you've done yourself a disservice, and you need to go take a look, because she is absolutely fantastic.
Speaking of doing yourself a disservice, all the men out there who are watching us, well, one, we appreciate you stopping by, checking us out. But if you haven't checked out Manscaped, make sure you do so. They are a sponsor to Love Wrestling, and they are offering you this deal of a lifetime, where if you went on their website and you used the promo code Love Wrestling, not only do you get 20% off your order, you also get free shipping. That is a great deal. Their products are just amazing. And guys, if you are not doing your due diligence on helping out your genitalia, then you're doing your dating life a disservice. Or even if you do have that lucky lady, or even a lucky man, you still got to do that for them. All right? It's 2022. Let's bring in the new year with the art of giving, and Manscaped is giving you this opportunity of a lifetime, as well as Rich King is giving you an opportunity to help out every aspect of your life, whether it's nutrition, whether it's bodybuilding, whether it's just knowledge on how to become better in that end. And let me tell you, a lot of people, if they're able to change things about them on a physical level, a nutritious level, they just have a lot more confidence. So make sure you're checking out Rich King at RK Athletics 1. Ed, as we close off, what do you have coming up this week, and where can we find you?
So you can always find me on Twitter at edfries12584. You can always find me co-hosting along with this week we'll have my two co-hosts back. We'll have Astrid as always, and we'll have the returning Cody. Cody will be returning to us to review at 10 o'clock. We'll be live at 9:55 Eastern, 7:55 Mountain Time as we review New Year's Evil, which will be main evented by Braun Breaker versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship. Hopefully we'll have a special. If Braun Breaker wins, we're expected to have a pop-in, run-in from our favorite Spencer Love of Love Wrestling, as he is Braun Breaker's #1 fan, especially on these channels.
Yeah. And make sure you're checking out us tomorrow at regular time for Sunday brunch, as that will go out in the first Sunday brunch of 2022. Where we will definitely have a lot more, and I think Zach will have a This Week in Love Wrestling graphic to be played, but make sure you're checking that out. Make sure you're checking out day one as well, because there's a possibility that we do
we are doing a reaction. Yeah, we are doing a reaction. We're doing a react show post. Oh, yeah, we should mention that too. Tonight, while sidecasting with your day one show, make sure that you're paying attention here on the Love Wrestling CA Twitch channel, as we will finally be able to see the goodness that is Love Wrestling and Force Pro Wrestling Change the Game. Change the Game will be appearing here on these places, right here, right now on Twitch at 8 p.m. this evening.
And for all, definitely say thank you. And if you wanted to follow me, Chris Parrish, all through your Instagram, Twitter.
Chris.Parrish on one of them.
Yeah, that's my Instagram. Also, yeah, we had a little bit of an issue with JPJ's Instagram. Make sure you're contacting Instagram, helping him get his account back. I believe it got hacked. So let's try to help out JPJ, who's doing some amazing work with Love Wrestling. I want to make sure he gets his Instagram back, because, I mean, come on. He's a brother, and we got to help our family here. That is what we're all about. Do that, and if you're in the Edmonton area and you want to check out some local pro wrestling tonight, make sure you're checking out RCW, Real Canadian Wrestling. Your boy has a chance to become a #1 contender for the tag team titles. So, Let's hope
You
that
got Son of
happens.
Irish by your side tonight?
Yeah, he's by me, and then we're up against the former champs, number one contender. So it's gonna be interessante. I don't even know if that was a real word in any real languages, but it was a thing that I just made up. So deal with it. Also, this was me trying to find out what video I'm playing to get out of here because this is not a regular show. So, hell, I'm gonna play Zach unboxing this thing again because actually, you know what? Yeah, let's just do that. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tonight. We'll see you all the time. Goodbye, everyone.
Hi friends, Zach from lovewrestling.ca here, and I'm here with a package generously given to us from our new friends at manscaped.com. I just thought I'd take the time to unbox and share the contents with you here today. The first thing I want to say is I really appreciate the discretion of this packaging. I need more secrets with my postman, not less. Okay, so first thing I got here is a t-shirt. Your balls will thank you. You mean that figuratively, right? Like they're not gonna, become sentient and make decisions for me. They already make enough decisions for me. When I was unpackaging it, I really appreciated the discretion here, but I also I admire the confidence and the boldness on the very back of this t-shirt. I have been excited about this for days. Get the big packaging out of the way. Big package. Holy cow. I did not expect this. This is impressive. Mow slowly with the blade side up. Always use with care. I think I can do that. 4.0 will help reduce nicks, folks, but you gotta use it properly. There's a pull thing. There's a pull tab underneath. Jeez, this box never ends. It's like a little adventure. Got some crop preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant. Very refreshing. Very nice, pleasant odor. It's not like perfumey. It's just like, it's just very fresh. I like that. And then we got the crop reviver. Sorry about the glare. That's awful. So I got the preserver and the revivers. If I forget to use the preserver, then I got the reviver to help me. I've played RPGs. And lastly, the main event. There it is, the Lawnmower 4.0. Very nice, very light. It says I'm supposed to charge it first, but I'm wondering. Oh yeah, there we go. Can hear that baby purr. Oh, it's got a little light too. How handy is that? Well, friends, this is a very nice product. If you want to get your hand on the Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped, just head over to manscaped.com, and I'm even going to do you one better. Just enter our promo code LOVEWRESTLING. You're going to get 20% off, and you're going to get free shipping. How good is that? And thank you once again to manscaped.com for this very generous lawn